big sporting events. Sports washing is something that he does very well. He's used the Soccer World Cup, the Winter Olympics, to try and scrub his image, to present himself to the international world as this sort of larger-than-life international figure. So when things like the Champions League being withdrawn, not just from Russia, from his hometown, from St. Petersburg, that is something that conveys a strong message. The sports world was very iffy about Russia after 2014, and if you go back even further, after 2008, when Russia invaded Georgia, the sports world was not united against Russia. But we're seeing something very different now. The Formula One race in St. Petersburg has been withdrawn as well. And what Abramovich is doing at Chelsea is basically a recognition, I think, on his part of two things. One is he thinks that there are some sanctions coming against him, and he's trying to insulate the club from it. And the other thing is he's recognizing that Russia and anything to do with Russia is becoming pariah in the sporting world, and he needs to protect his club, protect his asset from it. This thing that he's done, where he's transferred the management of the club to the trustees, the charitable foundation, is a bit of window dressing, really, because they are his trustees, the people he has handpicked. But he recognizes that there are calls now within the United Kingdom that even in Parliament, a member of Parliament has demanded that his ownership of the club be looked into, and that the club be forced to distance itself from its owner, and the club be basically taken over and sold to somebody else. So he sees that the wind has...
Yeah, it's very fascinating when you describe it that way. Let me play for you guys something from Tulsi Gabbard, former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard and presidential candidate. I'm not sure if you've seen this. She posted this video online not too long ago. Watch this.
Oh, my God.
President Putin, you've made your point. Before it's too late, stop the attack now.
Really?
I have both Ukrainian and Russian friends, and I know that they have aloha. They have respect and love for each other like brothers and sisters. It's clear that the Russian people and the Ukrainian people both just want to live in peace. So I implore you, end this assault now before it gets to the point of no return and the suffering becomes unimaginable.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, so on the surface, an important appeal there, but I was going to have a little fun with this and say, if you've lost Tulsi Gabbard, you've lost the war. Chris, what do you think?
Well, I think it's just another sign of how in the United States and across the world, there's almost no one who supports this war. Even if you look at Russia's friends internationally, they're hiding in UN Security Council votes, trying to avoid being asked what they think about the war because it's just so unpopular and so hard to defend. So I think you're right. If you have lost Tulsi Gabbard, then you have lost at least the public relations battle around the war.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting, as one person pointed out, again, a comedian, I think, made the point that, you know, when those SWIFT payments get held up, everyone's going to suddenly cut from Russia. So perhaps explaining Tulsi Gabbard's position there. Ruth, what do you make of that?
I'll respond with a quip that I bet Tucker Carlson's very glad that he broadcast from Budapest for a week, and he's been putting his chips in the Orban, cart too, because Orban has always appealed because he's the quote more palatable autocrat where you don't hear about people falling out windows or getting poisoned, and yet he's still an autocrat, and the GOP and CPAC's supposed to be held in Budapest this year. So they can just, going on the opportunist theme that Bobby talked about, they can just reorient to Orban if they get fed up with Putin.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a reason why Viktor Orban is celebrated for his white supremacy among white nationalists in this country and elsewhere. Christopher Miller, Ruth Benguet, Bobby Ghosh, thank you all very much.